Banu Sute Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bhakta Mugu. That was very good. Thank you very much. I'm just going to stop share for 1 minute and then I'll share again.
Okay.
So, thank you very much for having me on this platform. I'm always grateful and appreciative to be here. So, we'll just start with some other prayers. Jayatam Surato Pangor Mama Mandir Matir Gati Matsarvasya Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyadvrindaranya Kalpadrumata Srimat Ratnagara Simhasanastho Shri Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prashthali Sevya Mano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasa Rambhi Vamsi Vata Tata Sita Karshan Venu Swanir Gopir Gopinatha Shriyastuna Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, we should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God and Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Shinvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hriday Antostahiha Bhadrani Vidunote Surit Satam Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistake. 1 second. Okay, so I'll share again. Before we start, there's this very beautiful pratna, means prayers that Raghunath Das Goswami, he composed these 10 stanzas on Giri Govardhan, praying to Giri Govardhan to grant him residence near Govardhan. So we won't do the Sanskrit because it's pretty difficult. So it's called Shri Govardhan Vas Pratna Dashakam. Vas means to reside and Pratna means a prayer, a request. Dashakam means 10. By Srila Raghunath Das Goswami from the Stavavali. So I'll read the translation. O Govardhan, O king of all incomparable great mountains, O hill that became an umbrella with the arm of your own Lord as the handle and then destroyed the pride of the Deva king madly attacking with raised weapons, please grant me the residence near you that is so dear to me. O Govardhan, please grant to me the residence near you that will guarantee the sight of the youthful divine couple as they enjoy passionate amorous pastimes in your caves. O Govardhan, O hill, where Lord Krishna happily plays with Balaram and his friends in the incomparable jeweled courtyards, jeweled lion thrones, trees, waterfalls, mountain brooks, caves, peaks, and valleys. Please grant me the residence near you that is so dear to me. O Govardhan, O hill that provides the dark courtyard that witnesses the Dan Kelly pastime of the nectar treasure youthful divine couple. O hill that brings great bliss to the best of they who relish transcendental nectar, please grant me residence near you. O Govardhan, O hill that, hiding as you playfully embrace the neck of your dear friend, Lord Hari's dear, unprecedented Radhakund, secretly gazes at the pastimes of the youthful divine couple, please grant to me residence near you. O Govardhan, O hill that by nourishing the cows with its water, grass, and the shade of its trees declares to the three worlds the appropriateness of its own name, please grant to me residence near you. Govardhan means that which nourishes, Vardhan, the cows go. O Govardhan, O hill, that the enemy of Aga and Baka honored by transforming into a new house to give Raja protection from the sustained fury of the Sura king, please grant to me residence near you. O Govardhan, O king of mountains, O hill whose nectar name, the best of Lord Hari's servants, flows from the moon of Sri Radha's mouth. O hill that the Vedas declare to be the Tilak marking of Vraja, please grant to me residence near you. O Govardhan, O philanthropist that gives transcendental happiness to Vraja's people, animals and birds, all anointed with the nectar of friendship for Shri Shri Radha Krishna, surrounded by their friends. Out of your immeasurable mercy, please accept me and please grant me residence near you. Although I am a cheater and a criminal, unlimitedly merciful, Lord Sri Sachinandan, who is very dear to you, has given me to you. O Govardhan, please do not consider whether I am acceptable or not, but simply grant me residence near you. One who carefully reads these 10 nectar verses describing Srila Govardhan, the king of the mountains, will very soon reside near that blissful hill and quickly attain the precious jewel of the service of the handsome divine couple. So beautiful, so beautiful. I mean, when will that day be ours when we'll actually, truly, sincerely, and genuinely desire this? One day, hopefully. Second. Can you see the slides? No, 1 second. Okay, now you'll be able to see the slides.
Yes, yes, Mataji, we can now.
Okay, so these two little Shilas, you see, these are Govardhan Shilas from Govardhan Hill. So we start the identity of Govardhan Hill. So start with his Holiness Guru Govind Maharaj. For those who've heard of him, he was actually a pure devotee, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada from Orissa. I can't remember the year he left his body, but he was a very, very, very deep devotee, and Srila Prabhupada gave him both first and second initiation and sannyas, I think, all together or something like that. And when some of the Western disciples were complaining to Srila Prabhupada that how can you give all three in one? And Srila Prabhupada said Guru Govind Maharaj was born more pious than you. As in, like, so he was just like a really pure devotee. And he's written many, many books. So according to an article by Guru Govind Maharaj, now we're talking about the identity of Giri Govardhan. Who is Govardhan? What is Govardhan's identity? So if I were to ask you that question, and whatever answer comes to mind, could you anybody please share who is Giri Govardhan? Can anybody, whatever, there is no right or wrong answer. But
there is
sorry.
Krishna lifted the Govardhan mountain,
Yes.
and his friend is his left hand is always remaining above. I mean, he keeps his
Yeah.
hand up.
Yeah. So Krishna lifted Govardhan hill. Thank you very much, as we can see from this slide. Okay. Anything else about the identity of Giriraj? Who is Giriraj Govardhan? This is very important to understand this. It's today's philosophy, it's deep philosophy, but it's also very essential for us to understand who is Govardhan. Any other answers? Any other? So, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna in as a servant of Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none different from Krishna, but he appears as a devotee of Krishna. So Giriraj Govardhan has an identity as well. So there are normally many debates around is Giriraj Govardhan, like I say, these are shilas, these are stones from Giri Govardhan, and devotees worship these. I worship these shilas. These shilas have been mine for many, many years. You can see there's a peacock feather, there's a flute. So then who is Giriraj Govardhan? Is he Krishna? Or is he a servant of Krishna? Who is Govardhan? So today this is what we're going to decipher a little bit. What is the identity of Giriraj Govardhan? Please pay attention. It is very important to understand these philosophical. This is tattva. This is tattva, very important to understand. So now, according to an article by Gaur Govind Maharaj, Giriraj is a manifestation of Krishna. But devotees, we accept him as a dear devotee and we worship him as a dear devotee. Like Srimati Radharani says, Haridasa, the best of devotees. So this is a verse from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srimati Radharani is talking to her other gopi friends. Beautiful verse. Hantayam adir abala haridasa varya yad Ramakrishna charana sparsha pramoda manam tanoti sahago ganayostayoryat paniya suyavasa kandara kandamule. So Haridasa Varya, the best of servants. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram along with their cows and cowherd friends with all kinds of necessities, water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respects to the Lord, being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. Govardhan hill appears very jubilant. Okay. So according to Gaur Govind Maharaj, Giriraj is a manifestation of Krishna, but we accept him as a dear devotee. According to this verse, Hari Das. Das means, Hari means Krishna and Das means servant. Varya, the best. Then, in his Priti Sandarbha, let's hear what Srila Jiva Goswami quotes from Mathura Mahatmya. Govardhanascha Bhagavan yatra Govardhano dhrita Rakshita Yadava Sarva Indra Vrishti Nivaranat. Govardhan hill is Bhagwan, God himself. And in this place, in Rajasthan, he held himself in the form of that Govardhan hill. Thus all the Yadava cowherds were rescued from Indra's reign. So according to Jiva Goswami, then, he is Krishna himself. Then we have from Garga Samhita, Girirajo Hare Rupam Shriman Govardhano Giri Glorious Govardhan Hill is a personified form of Hari. Then there is another book, Narayan Bhatt Charitamrita, says Esha Govardhan Sakshat Eva Na Samsaya. This Govardhan Hill is directly Krishna. Of this there is no doubt. So based on this and many other verses, many devotees worship Giriraj as none different from Krishna. Then they'll offer peacock fan, a flute. But then why is he also addressed as servant in so many other places? In Vrindavan, this is very interesting. In Vrindavan, if you go to Govardhan village itself, Giriraj is addressed as Baba. Baba, father. Same like in Kiswahili, Baba. Father, elder, respected. You know, Baba, father is somebody who gives shelter. Shelter, that's the key word. So they lovingly address him as Baba, somebody caring, a father figure, provider, a guru figure. And at Govardhan village, whenever somebody has having an issue or is having a problem, the other villagers will be like, go and talk to Baba. Baba will sort all your problems out. And they go to Govardhan and they talk to Giriraj Govardhan. And he solves their problems because of their faith, their simplicity, these villagers, go, any issues, go talk to Baba. He'll sort your problems out. So this is it shows like how intimately they relate to Giriraj Govardhan. Everything is personified. Everything is a person. It's not just a hill that Krishna lifted. This is a person. This is Krishna himself. You know, in come as a servant to provide the Vrajavasis with all these necessities. This hill is living. It's alive. It's Krishna. And then there's another beautiful prayer by Rupa Goswami. That prayer by Rupa Goswami presented the prayer spoken by the people of Raja while Krishna was holding up the hill. So this is a prayer that Rupa Goswami represents on behalf of the Vrajavasis. So this prayer was spoken while Krishna was lifting the Govardhan hill. O Father Govardhan, I pray to you, please become as light as a bunch of fully grown water spinach, so that Krishna will not become tired as he holds you in his hand. O auspicious one, I bow down and offer my respectful obeisances to you. Then, so now we look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conception. How did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu see Giriraj Govardhan? He saw Giriraj at some times he saw Giriraj completely non-different from Krishna, where when he came to Vrindavan and he came to Govardhan, he did not climb the hill because is stepping on Krishna. He did not. Although the temple of Srinathji was on top of the hill, Gopinath, and he wanted to take darshan, but he did not climb the hill. As soon as he's on the parikrama path, as soon as he saw the rocks, he went mad in ecstasy and he went and he embraced the rocks, like crying, and seeing these rocks as completely non-different from Krishna. Yet other times, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu addressed and saw him as a devotee. So before we go, so he gave this Shila, again the stone from Giriraj Govardhan to Raghunath Das Goswami. And he told Raghunath Das Goswami, this stone is the transcendental form of Lord Krishna. This form is the transcendental form of Lord Krishna. Worship the stone with great eagerness. Yet then again at other times he saw Giriraj as a devotee. Murari Gupta describes this Murari Gupta describes Mahaprabhu's words in Chaitanya Charita. Throughout the universe, Giriraj Govardhan is the most glorious of bhaktas, most glorious of devotees. Here, Krishna and Rama always play in the great bliss along with the Gopal Balas, along with the Gopal, the cowherd boys. Exclaiming this with great eagerness, Sri Gaurachandra, the bestower of the complete spectrum of love for Krishna, danced while worshipping Govardhan Hill. So, although he's seeing as, as a devotee, but at the same time, he's worshipping Govardhan Hill. Raghunath Das Goswami repeatedly addressed Giriraj as a devotee. And also the six Goswamis in general, they always addressed Giriraj Govardhan as the greatest of devotees. So now before we come to the conclusion of who is Giriraj Govardhan, is he Krishna or is he a devotee? We'll just look at the origin of Giriraj. Because sometimes one important way of to understand a person's nature is to learn about their origin. So there's several stories, actually. There's several stories of how Giriraj Govardhan came to existence, came to be, and more important, also his genesis, how did he come to be manifest? So one popular pastime is that Giriraj was born of the mountain Drona. I think, yes. And this was towards the Himalayas. And Pulasya Muni was going to Varanasi. And he really liked Govardhan because very fresh, very lush, very green. And Pulasya Muni developed this desire to go to Varanasi with Govardhan Hill because Varanasi is a very flat piece of land. There's no hill there. So he approached Drona and he told me, "You give me your son." With much, much, much hesitancy, Drona agreed to give Pulasya Muni Giriraj. But Giriraj Govardhan had one condition. He told Pulasya Muni, "Yes, you have mystic powers and you can carry me. But during the journey to Varanasi, wherever you put me down, that's it. I will not move from there again." So Pulasya Muni, being a mystical sage, thought, okay, that's possible. I can do that. I don't have to put the hill down. In my journey, I can just, I'm strong enough to do that. So lifted Govardhan Hill, started his journey. And as they were passing Vrindavan, Vraj, Giriraj Govardhan decided that this is where he wants to reside. This is where he wants to be. So being Krishna, he developed the urge within Pulasya Muni to go and attend to nature's call. So at this point, Pulasya Muni forgot of Giriraj's condition and he just, put Giriraj down, attended to his nature's call, took a bath, the Yamuna, and then came back. And he tried to lift Giriraj, and Giriraj Govardhan wouldn't budge. Pulasya Muni is kind of like, what's happening to my strength? So he's trying harder and harder. And he just wouldn't budge. And then finally Giriraj Govardhan told him, "Do you remember my condition? I told you wherever you put me down, I'm not going to move from there." So Pulasya Muni got actually really angry and really offended, and he cursed Giriraj that every day he will shrink by the size of a mustard seed. And this curse is still true, as we can see. Giriraj Govardhan even today is shrinking and shrinking. The the beginning of the hill, from where you could see the beginning of the hill, the rock that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced, where it is described exactly where the hill started manifesting, you can't see it anymore. You can't see it. So you can the hill starts much, much further away. So this is one story. Sorry, yes, okay. And then there's also another pastime where in Treta Yuga, when the monkeys and Hanuman were helping Lord Ramachandra build the bridge to Lanka, and they were, they needed big boulders, hills, and mountains to fill up that to make that bridge. So Hanuman flew to Himalayas and picked up Giriraj Govardhan and was taking him to where they were building the bridge. But halfway through, a celestial voice spoke in the sky and told Hanuman that the bridge has already been built. And so at this point, he was passing through Vraja, so he put Giriraj down. And Giriraj was like, oh, but I thought I really wanted to serve my Lord. And then Hanuman told him, don't worry, in Dwapar Yuga, you'll be able to serve the Lord. So that's another pastime of how Giriraj came to be. Then in the Padma Puran says in Kalpe Puratne, means in a previous ancient age, there was a Brahmin named Govardhan, a great devotee. He was a great, great devotee, performed so many austerities and penances. And then the Lord appeared to grant him a wish. And the Brahmin asked the Lord to put the Lord's feet on his back and stand on him. So the Lord gave the Brahmin Sarupya Mukti, means he gave him the mystical opulence, and as a spiritual form of Krishna's manifestation of Govardhan Hill. So Sarupya Mukti is when you have a form very similar to the Lord. So he gave him this, he manifested as himself as Giriraj, this Brahmin. And hence the Anakut festival, where thousands and thousands and thousands of offerings were made to Giriraj, was because Krishna knew this Brahmin was very thirsty and hungry. So he made it. It happened that lots and lots and lots of offerings were made. And then for 7 days, there was torrential rain. So this way the Brahmin was drinking a lot of water. Then in the Maheshwar Tantra, it is said that Narad Muni dropped the jeweled necklace of Lord Shiva's wife. He dropped the jeweled necklace of Lord Shiva's wife. And when it landed on the ground, it manifested as the form of Giriraj. Now, in the Bhavishya Puran, there's a very unusual story that Radha and Krishna performed austerities, severe penances for 1,000 years. And after 1,000 years, a brilliant effulgence emanated from their bodies. And then 10 energies were produced, 5 from the working senses and 5 from the knowledge acquiring senses. And these energies turned into 10 villages. So Gokul, Varshana, Nandagaon, Bandira, Mathura, Vraj, Yamuna, Manya, Shreyaska, and Gopika. So, just going back, Radha and Krishna, this is very unusual to hear of Radha and Krishna performing austerities and penances for 1,000 years. And then from them, a brilliant effulgence manifested, and 10 energies were produced, which turned into these 10 villages. Gokul, Varshana, these are all villages near Vrindavan. Okay. Then 10 other energies produced from 5 objects of the senses and 5 elements, earth, water, air, fire, ether. And these turned into the 10 forests of Raja. Vrindavan, Gopavan, Bahulavan, Madhushringa, Kunjavan, Dadivan, Rahavan, Kridavan, Venuvan, and Padmavan. So these are the 10 forests. Then finally, from their minds, Giriraj was born. Giriraj was born from their minds. So that is a very, very interesting pastime. And then in Garga Samhita, one night after the Rasa dance, Krishna asked the gopis to ask for a boon, and Srimati Radharani requested as follows: O Lord of Lords, if you are pleased with my love in this Rasa dance, then there is a desire in my heart that I'd like to place before you. How sweetly, how sweet is the communication in the spiritual world. How sweet. O Lord of Lords, if you are pleased with my love in this rasa dance, then there's a desire in my heart that I'd like to place before you. Krishna happily promised to fulfill whatever desire she had. And then Radharani requested, in the splendid Vrindavan forest, in a beautiful, secluded place, by the Yamuna shore, please make an arena for a nectar rasa dance. O Lord of Lords, this is my desire. So I'll read that again. In the splendid Vrindavan forest, in a beautiful secluded place, by the Yamuna shore, please make an arena for a nectar rasa dance. O Lord of Lords, this is my desire. And Krishna said, Tathastu, so be it. Then Krishna, he looks at the gopis and a fiery glow comes out of his heart. So he looks at the gopis and a fiery glow. Now his desire is to serve the gopis. Ask me for a boon. His desire is to serve these gopis, and this desire comes out as a fiery glow, which was then the seed of deep loving attachment. Anuraga. This glow was the seed of deep loving attachment that he had for Srimati Radharani and the gopis. Now, when this manifestation fell to the ground, it grew into this great mountain known as Giriraj Govardhan. It was filled with many caves and beautiful swift streams. It was beautifully ornamented with trees like Kadamba and Ashoka. Lots of fragrant flowers and vines and graceful birds. So this love kept growing and growing and growing. It said 800,000 miles wide. 800,000 miles wide and 8 billion miles long. This is growing and growing. This is the love Krishna has for Srimati Radharani and the gopis. 800,000 miles wide and 8 billion miles long. As the mountain expanded, Goloka became filled with fear and darkness, and there was a great uproar. The Rajavasis couldn't understand what was going on. So Krishna stands up and slaps the hill, slaps the mountain. And he's like, why are you expanding so much? You have covered the entire realm. Stop at once. So these are the different pastimes as to how Giriraj Govardhan came to be. Yeah. So the conclusion is that both Bhavishya Puran and Garga Samhita support the idea that Giriraj is a manifestation of Krishna in the mood of a devotee. So like when Krishna wanted to serve the gopis and Srimati Radharani, he wanted to please them. Whatever boon you want. So that's service that's come out of this desire to serve. Garga Samhita, Giriraj comes from the heart of Krishna in the form of a desire to serve Srimati Radharani and the gopis. And then in the Bhavishya Puran, Giriraj coming from the minds of Radha and Krishna. Both indicate that Giriraj is simultaneously Bhagavad Swarup and Bhakta Swarup. So he's both. He's Krishna and he's a devotee of Krishna. exactly like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Exactly, exactly. So then he's both. This is the conclusion that he's both. He's a form of Krishna and he's a devotee of the greatest devotee of Krishna. So now, so then how do we worship him? Do we worship him as Krishna with a peacock and a flute? Or do we worship him as a devotee who is providing all these necessities, who's just there, the best of servants, whatever Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys and the gopis need, Giriraj provides. And not only that, he looks after what is most intimate, most important for Krishna, the cows. He looks after the cows. So the conclusion is that if you have a Govardhan Shila that somehow came to you, nobody is allowed to go and just pick up a Govardhan Shila, a rock from Govardhan. Giriraj has to come to you. So then you have to worship him according to the instructions of your spiritual master. Whatever the individual authority gives to the individual devotee of worship him in this mood and worship him like this and worship him like this, then we follow that instruction. Like for example, surprisingly enough, in Govardhan village, all the villages will have this rock, a Shila of Govardhan in their homes, but they don't necessarily worship him the way we worship Giriraj in ISKCON, where we bathe him every day. You know, first of all, we every day massage Giriraj with ghee and fragrant oil, and then we bathe him, and then we do arti, we dress him, you know. In Govardhan village itself, they don't do that. Although every home, every household will have a Shila, but what they do is whatever they cook, they offer to Baba. That's their mood. See? So, and this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that it's so individual. It's not that same fit, same fit for all. It has to be the same for all. No, it's so individual. So the conclusion is that Giriraj, now this is the identity of Giriraj Govardhan. Please remember, this is very important. Because, somebody may ask you what you worship, a hill or you worship a rock. And you should be able to answer these questions, these kinds of doubts, especially in a country like Kenya, where we're so out of like what we worship a plant, what we worship cows, what we worship a rock, we worship a mountain. So it is important to have these philosophical points understood, that he's both Krishna and he's a devotee. And then we worship him according to our individual mood, instructed by our spiritual master. So, and which pastime do we go with? How was Giriraj manifested? Well, in different yugas and different kalpas, they could have been manifested. So all these pastimes hold true. All these pastimes hold true. Because these pastimes are not happening only on this earthly planet. They're happening in all different planets, in all different ways, and all at all different times. So it is very, very possible that in another yuga, this is how Giriraj manifested. In this yuga, this is how Giriraj manifested. So all those pastimes are genuine and they're real. So, any questions so far before I move on to just looking at specific places at Giriraj Govardhan that is of so much significance? I mean, all the places at Giriraj Govardhan are of so much spiritual significance, but I'm just doing this week and next week. So we'll just look at specifically some specific places. So before I start there, are there any questions? Okay. So Govardhan Hill has a valley where Krishna arrives in the morning with his cowherd friends, the boys. And this Sorry, what is happening? Okay. Anyway, he arrives here in the morning. This place is called Kusum Sarovar. This is a picture of Kusum Sarovar at night. So Kusum Sarovar, Kusum means flowers. Kusum Van. So Kusum Sarovar means a forest of flowers. So this is a bigger area, Kusum Sarovar, and within it there's a small area called Gwalpakor. So this is there's a pond, and this is where the cowherd boys play and frolic, and the cows are drinking the water and eating the grass, and the cowherd boys are just playing games, laughing, joking, and then they have their picnic here. They eat their food. And then before they have their picnic, they go to Manasi Ganga, take their bath, and then they'll share their lunch. And then after that, Krishna tells his friends, you go ahead and herd the cows at Balaram. Subal, Madhumangal, and I will wander about looking at the beauty of this place. Because now he wants to meet with the gopis, but he can't tell his cowherd boyfriends that he's going to go and meet the gopis. So then they come to Kusum Sarovar, and now before I continue, there's such an interesting pastime that I just discovered of this place, Kusum Sarovar, which just many years ago was a complete forest. So it is called the Forest of the Sages. And this is a true story. In the 19th century, there was an English officer who arrived there with his soldiers, and he set up camp at Kusum Sarovar, and he informed the local people that their intention was to hunt animals there, deers and boars and all that. Okay. So the villagers pleaded with this British officer and his soldiers, and they're like, you can't hunt here. This is a very sacred forest, and the animals here are very sacred. They're actually sages in the form of animals performing austerities here. Please do not hunt here. And for the British English soldier, that was just a joke. And he was still adamant that he would hunt here. And so then finally the villagers and the chief of the villages, they came to a compromise, and they said, okay, fine. If you have to hunt, please don't hunt on the side of Giriraj. Hunt on this other side, not on the side of Giriraj. And the British officer was like, yeah, whatever, what difference does it make? But anyway, okay, fine, he agreed. And the next day they tried to hunt for many, many hours, but to no avail, no luck. They didn't catch even one animal. So the next day, the British officer decided that this is it. He's going to go towards the hill to hunt, despite the uproar of the villagers. So the next day they did that, and for many, many hours they were hunting, but no success. They just suddenly, the animals just weren't there that day. But eventually, a deer crossed their path, and they shot at the deer, and it hit at the ankle. So the deer ran off towards Govardhan Hill, leaving a trail of blood. So there's British officer and the soldiers, they followed the trail of blood, hoping to catch the deer. And they came to a little hut, a kutir, you know. And they thought that obviously the deer must have gone inside to take shelter. So they enter this small hut expecting to see a deer, but they just see an old sage tending to an injury on his ankle. And then the officer asked, where is the deer? And the sage is like, what deer? There's no deer over here. And the soldiers, the British officers, like, no, we, we hunted down this deer and we've followed his trail of blood, and this is where it's led us. And the sage said, there's no deer here. And as he was standing to his injury, and then the officer asked him, what happened to you? And he said, I got pricked by a thorn. And then the officer said that we have a doctor with us, in our, uh, we have come with a doctor. And the sage refused and he said, there's no need, I don't need. And then the officer demanded that the sage see the doctor. And when the doctor saw his foot, he's like, this is not a thorn, this is a bullet. And that's when the British officer realized that this is indeed a mystical forest, and these animals are not just normal animals. This is very, and so he stopped hunting there. And from that day, there was a creed made in 3 different languages, I think English, Hindi, and Urdu, that no hunting will take place in this area of Mathura. And that plaque, or it's written on stone, is still there at Kusum Sarovar. So this is how special this place is. So then this place, Kusum Sarovar, also is a place of Bhagavatam. So just beside Kusum Sarovar, sort of like slightly behind Kusum Sarovar, is a place where Uddhav resides as a creeper. So when Krishna went to Mathura, and then he sent Uddhav to Vrindavan, to Vraj, and when Uddhav saw the love the gopis, the Vrajavasis had for Krishna, how they were missing him, how Vrindavan had just become like a village of the living dead. Nothing, nobody was doing nothing. They say that Nanda Baba and Yashoda had their eyes transfixed on the path that Krishna and Balaram had used to walk towards Mathura, and their eyes were completely transfixed on this path, waiting for them to come back. And this is not for one day, this is not for 1 week, no, months, years. Nothing was functioning in that village anymore. They were just thinking of Krishna. And when Uddhav saw this, out of his humility as a devotee, he prayed. It's not to be equal to the gopis and the Vrajavasis, but rather to take birth as a creeper or as grass in this area, so that when the gopis stepped on him, he would get the dust of their lotus feet on his head. And it is said that in this the area is called Uddhav Kund. Uddhav resides as grass or as a creeper. So So then this is after Krishna departs, after performing his pastimes, and Krishna goes back to the spiritual world. Now his queens of Dwarka were really, really missing Krishna. They were in complete agony in Krishna's absence. And at that time, Kalindi, Yamuna, river personified, told them to come to this area and do Sankirtan, perform chanting, congregational chanting. And so they did that. And when Udo, in the form of a creeper, heard their chanting, he was so happy that he took the form of Udo and he came to them in this area just behind, and he recited for them Srimad Bhagavatam for a whole month. And as they were listening to the pastimes of the Bhagavatam, they could they could actually see the pastime happening right in front of them. And as they got purified by hearing the Bhagavatam, they received their 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 eternal identity, and they went back to the spiritual world. So this place is very is the hence this place is known as a place for Bhagavatam. So this is such a special place, Kusum Sarovar. There's another pastime which we will speak about next time. But this is a place of Bhagavatam and Sankirtan Yagya. Imagine Uddhav spoke here Srimad Bhagavatam for a month, and to who? Who was the audience? Krishna's queens of Dwarka. The potency, the power of this place. And the the fact that the animals and the plants and the creepers are not normal. They're mystical, they're sages performing austerities in this area. We don't know what this creeper, this bush, we only know of Uddhav, but there could be so many different exalted personalities in this form. So this is just a little insight into Kusum Sarovar. We will continue next week. So I'll stop here. If there are any questions, any comments, anything anybody would like to add.
Krishna Mataji, uh, thank you so much for really showing us so much deepness on Giriraj Govardhan here. I don't know, I know I'm talking on behalf of many of us, saying we really never had such intimate session on about Govardhan, about his identity, how he appeared in different yugas, the mystical opulences in that very divine hill, and also that story of Radha and Krishna performing austerities. I have a lot of questions about it, but today I'll just meditate on it, just thinking the supreme personalities doing austerities for thousands years, and why would they do it? And the aspect also, I'm sure a lot of us assembled here would like one day to at least witness Govardhan, even if just to pay our businesses. Now that we've had such topics and philosophical understanding on this mystical hill forests and the people in it. Thank you so much. I'd like to open up to any other person with a comment or a question.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I had is it possible to get the slides you're using?
Yeah, I'll try. I'm not so good with technology, but I'll ask my son.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be very difficult. I think you just copy paste, right?
Yeah. Or even send it as a presentation that you have on your laptop or tablet.
And I can send it on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that point about Radha and Krishna performing austerities is the first time I've come across. It's actually from a magazine written by a disciple of Gaur Govind Maharaj, Madhavananda Prabhu. He's amazing. his knowledge of Shastra is like next level, like amazing. So, and he has written this whole magazine on Giriraj Govardhan, his identity, this. And so, yeah, I found that explanation in that magazine. In fact, a lot of these points that I made in class today is from that magazine. But yeah, it's the first time. Very unusual pastime. But anything is possible for Radha and Krishna. Yeah. I mean, the take home I'd like you to take home today is that just understand, try and remember what is Giriraj's identity. It is very important that he is both. He's none different from Krishna and he is the best of devotees. If you can just, if just that one sentence can be your take home today, I think it would be a successful class. It's just very important to understand who Giriraj Govardhan is. It is very important to understand who Tulsi Maharani is. It's very important to understand why we give so much respect to the cows. It's so important to understand all these things. So, yeah, write it down somewhere because if you don't, you will forget. Because I went through this last year when we started the long Govardhan online parikrama, and I had gone through not in this depth, but I had done the identity of Govardhan. Obviously, today is much deeper, but yeah, if that one point can be the take home, let it be that point, that the identity of Giriraj. So thank you so much. It's 9 o'clock now. We'll stop here. Thank you very, very much for giving me this opportunity. It's always nice for me. Anything to do with Govardhan is very, very close to my heart because of the Shilas that I worship. So, yeah, hopefully they're happy that we have been discussing about them. So, we can end here.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. I would like to request Sister, Bhakta Sister Prabhu to kindly end the session for us to do. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful class on Govardhan and the pastimes of Giriraj Govardhan. So enlightening and so eye-opening. I would like to invite each and every one of us to unmute and chant one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the glorification of Her Grace Ashwariya Lila Mataji for the wonderful class.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Hare.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha,
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha,
Kripasindhubhyeva, Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnavibhyo Namo.
Jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Have a wonderful Govardhan Puja, which is I think on Wednesday. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I want the recording. I was disturbed for the last 5-6 minutes. I was disturbed by somebody. Can I
Yeah,
have the recording?
Yes, it is
Urmila,
posted.
Urmila Ben.
Okay, it is posted every day in the group, Mataji.
Urmila Ben. Kirtika Mataji has my telephone number.
Okay, I will tell her to
Yeah.
text. Thank you so much.